Why is my food not ready, eh? Woman, this is the only thing you and your daughter is made for. Yet, somehow, you can't just get it right. You two are just so useless. This is why I never wanted a female child. They are good for nothing, just to be given to another man to bear children.
Now I am free. Free from my father's claws. It's time to start afresh. Just me alone.
People who grew up in Uchadun still say that some nights smell like old smoke. Not the kind that rises from firewood or burnt palm kernel, but the bitter kind, heavy, sour, as if something alive was burned when it should not have been. Uchadu was not a small town then. It was proud. It sat close to the river bend where traders stopped to rest and farmers boasted about harvests that never failed. At the center of Uchadu stood one compound larger than all the others put together, the compound of Chief Ugule. That was where Mama Oyinlo was born. But in those days, her name was Oyinlo, just Oyinlo. No mama, no fear attached, just a girl. Chief Ogole had 5 sons, strong boys, loud boys, boys who ran through the compound like they owned the earth beneath their feet. Oyinlo followed behind them like a shadow that nobody acknowledged. Her father was tall, unnaturally tall and broad like the Iroko tree behind the house. When he laughed, the compound shook. When he was angry, even grown men avoided his eyes. And he was often angry. He believed daughters were a waste of yam. Whenever visitors came, he introduced his sons proudly, listing their strengths and future plans. Oyinlo stood beside her mother, quiet, eyes lowered. Sometimes he forgot her name. Other times he remembered it only to shout it. "Girl, what are you standing there for? Go and help your mother before I give you a reason to cry." He beat Oyinlo often, not because she was stubborn, but because she was there. Her mother, Mama Alero, was gentle, thin, and always tired. Her body carried bruises she learned to hide under wrappers and silence. At night, Oyinlo listened from her mat as her father's anger spilled into blows. She counted them sometimes. She learned early that no one came to help women who cried too loudly. One afternoon, after her father had beaten her mother until she could not stand straight, Oyinlo sat behind the kitchen hut and pressed her fingernails into the dirt. She did not cry. Instead, she whispered, "If I ever become powerful, no man like you will rule my house." The wind carried the words away, but the ground heard. Her brothers had everything she did not: food, freedom, praise. When her father returned from the market, he brought them gifts, new slings, leather sandals, sometimes even coins. For Oyinlo, there was nothing. Once, when she was about 12, she gathered courage and asked her father for a piece of cloth like the one her age mate wore. He slapped her so hard she tasted blood. "You think I waste money on useless things? Go and pray you marry early so you leave my house." That night, she lay awake staring at the ceiling. Something hardened inside her. The fire happened during the Harmattan season. The air was dry, the night was quiet, too quiet. People say Oyinlo did not scream when the flames rose. Others say she ran out of the house carrying nothing, not even a wrapper, her face blank like someone who had already left her body behind. What everyone agrees on is this: by morning, Shifubule was dead, Mama Alero was dead, all 5 sons were dead. The compound was black ash. Oyinlo survived. She had burns on her arm, small ones, nothing life-threatening. When elders questioned her, she said the fire started in the kitchen. She said she tried to wake everyone. She said smoke overcame her. Her voice never shook. Some believed her, some did not. One old man muttered, "Fire that kills everyone but one person. We should not rush to call it accident." But no one pushed further. Chief Obole had enemies, the town was afraid of curses, and Oyinlo was just a girl. So, Uchadu buried its dead, and Oyinlo buried her past. After the burial, Oyinlo did not stay. She sold the little she could. She refused to live with relatives who suddenly remembered her existence. She left Uchadu before the ashes fully cooled. People saw her walking away at dawn, head high, feet steady. Someone called after her. She did not turn. Years later, in another part of Kogi, people met a woman called Oyinlo who spoke little about her past. She married a man named Adoga, a rich trader, tall and respected. People wondered how a woman with no known family managed such a match. Adoga was kind at first, but kindness did not erase what Oyinlo carried inside her. When she gave birth to a male child, she stared at him for a long time, too long. The child died before naming. Another son came and went. People said her womb was cursed. She never argued. When her daughters were born, she held them close, whispering promises only she understood. By the time the 7th daughter arrived, Adoga began to fall ill. One evening, after eating his food, he clutched his chest and fell. He did not wake again. Doctors spoke of sudden sickness. Oyinlo wore black and did not cry. Soon after, she moved again, this time to Ajegbu, and that was how Mama Oyinlo was born. Back in the present, while Rimande lay awake thinking of the old woman's words, Mama Oyinlo sat alone in her room. She had dreamt of flames, not just flames, voices calling her childhood name. Then the knock came, slow, careful. A man stood at her gate the next morning, old, bent, with eyes that searched her face like someone counting scars. He introduced himself as Elder Idoko from Uchadu. Oyinlo felt the ground shift under her feet. He smiled without warmth. "You left quickly," he said, "but fire travels faster than people." She said nothing. He continued, "Your daughter looks like your mother, the same eyes." For the first time in years, Mama Oyinlo felt something she had buried claw its way up, fear. That night, Mama Oyinlo warned her daughters, "Do not speak to strangers. Some memories come wearing human skin." But Rimande already knew. The past had found them, and it was not done collecting payment.
In Ajegbu, people believed that a mother's shadow is longer than her body, and Mama Oyinlo's shadow covered half the town. After Elder Idoko left, nothing obvious changed, but everything felt wrong. Conversations stopped when Mama Oyinlo passed. Children were called indoors earlier than usual. Even the goats seemed restless, bleating at night for no reason anyone could explain. Mama Oyinlo began to tighten her grip on her daughters. She asked more questions. She listened at doors. She watched faces the way hunters watch grass for movement, especially Rimande, the daughter who knew too much. Rimande could no longer look at her mother the same way. Every instruction sounded like a threat. Every silence felt planned. When Mama Oyinlo spoke of men with hatred curling her lips, Rimande now saw Uchadu burning behind her eyes. One evening, as they pounded yam together, Rimande asked carefully, "Mother, where were you born?" The pestle froze mid-air. Mama Oyinlo did not turn. "You ask too many questions," she said calmly. Rimande swallowed. "People talk." Mama Oyinlo finally faced her. Her eyes were sharp, not angry, but warning. People also die from talking. That night, Rimande decided something dangerous. If the truth was poison, she would still drink it. Around that time, a man came into Rimande's life like quiet rain. His name was Ayegba. He was tall, taller than Mama Oyinlo allowed. He was rich. His cocoa business stretched beyond Ajegu. And worst of all, he spoke softly, the way confident men do not need to shout. They met by accident near the river, when Rimande slipped on wet stones and Ayegba caught her arm before she fell. That was all. But Mama Oyinlo noticed how Rimande began to hum while cooking, how she smiled at nothing, how her eyes searched the road in the evenings. She confronted her directly. "You are seeing a man." Rimande did not deny it. Mama Oyinlo's voice dropped. "End it." Rimande shook her head. "He is kind." Mama Oyinlo laughed once, a dry sound. Kindness does not stop fists. Rimande surprised herself. Neither does fear. The slap came quickly, sharp, final. Mama Oyinlo stood over her. "If you marry him, you will crawl back to me." Ajegum buzzed when Rimande married Ayegba. People whispered that Mama Oyinlo had finally been defeated. She attended the ceremony but did not smile. She did not bless the union openly. She only looked at Ayegba like someone memorizing a face for later. For a short while, Rimande believed she had escaped. Ayegba's house was big, clean, respectable. But the beating started slowly. A raised voice, a shove, a hand that lingered too long in anger. Each time, Ayegba apologized. Each time, it got worse. Rimande remembered her mother's words and hated herself for remembering. One night, neighbors heard shouting, then silence. Rimande was found unconscious. She lay between life and death for days. Mama Oyinlo came and sat by her bed calm as a river that hides rocks. She whispered into her daughter's ear, Men do not change, they only wait. When Rimande woke, something in her eyes had shifted. She did not cry. She did not ask questions. She only said, "Mother, I understand now." Ayagba's death shocked Ajegun. His car failed on a lonely stretch of road. The accident was violent, no witnesses. Mama Oyinlo wore mourning clothes again. Rimande did not attend the burial. People whispered, but no one accused, because fear is louder than truth. Later, Rimande married a short, poor man, just like her mother wanted, and peace returned to her house. But peace is never shared equally. While Ajegun focused on Rimande, the youngest daughter, Imole was quietly falling in love. He was a copper posted to their community, Sadiq, tall, educated, gentle. Mama Oyinlo sensed it before it was said. She said only one word, no. Imole disobeyed. She eloped. When they went to Sadiq's village to formalize things, elders froze. The truth spilled like cold water. They were blood, cousins, a taboo older than memory. The elders warned, children born from this union will not stay. The land will reject you. Imole and Sadiq refused. Love, they said, was stronger than superstition. The gods listened and waited. Imole's first child was born healthy. People relaxed. Then, on the day the child took his first steps, he died. And far away, Mama Oyinlo smiled in her sleep, because some curses do not need to be spoken.